What did the weird kid in your school do that you'll never forget? A new lad in my primary school pretended his real voice was a deep Scottish accent. At some point he found a piece of broken glass and used it to cut my friend with for some reason, and then we never saw him again. Edit. Just for clarification, the person he cut was a girl and she came back to school after going to the hospital. Weird kid was never seen again. I'm from a small town. There was this weird kid who was a year older. But he was so weird that even the younger kids would pick on him. I didn't really know him. But I put him in the weird but harmless category. He graduates. And then decides to rob the local taco time with a shotgun. Well. It is a small town. The kids working at the taco time all know him. And pretty much everybody in the taco time also knows him. He got 2 years. Was in the band during some downtime. Some guy kicks off his shoes and socks and bites the ends of his toenails off. Most of the class casually migrated towards the other side of the room. He regularly threw chairs around the classroom, and one time he even held a pair of scissors to a teacher's throat. That was in primary school. He was seriously thrilled but seems okay now. 7th grade. Guy didn't have a pen/pencil for the test and the teacher wouldn't give him one. You need to be prepared. Blah. Yeah. The dude took out a paper clip. Straightened it out. Stabbed himself. And started doing the test using his blood as ink. He was quickly sent to the nurse's office. Edit. Whoa, thanks for the love everyone. It was kinda a sad situation. The teacher shouldn't have done that, and I think the student was picked on a lot and not very stable in the first place. In 4th grade, a girl ate a whole mechanical pencil next to me. She also regularly ate whole sheets of paper and erasers. The pencil really sticks out in my mind though. Robbed a gas station dressed as a ninja. Armed with a katana. Stole cash from the register. All the cigarettes he could carry. And a bunch of lottery tickets. He then fled across state lines with a 17-year-old girl. He was 19. Not a great result for him. Ate a sheep eye we were supposed to dissect in science class. Man oh man. This girl decided she wanted to be pregnant. She proceeded to ask probably half the people in our high school if they would impregnate her. And then when that didn't work, she brought a Ziploc bag and asked for guys to jizz in it. Everyone called her Sperm Bank after that. And I honestly can't remember her real name. Ended up in a mental institution because his parents bought him a new mattress, and while removing the old one they found multiple mason jars full of blood. No exaggeration, 2 gallons total. There was a police investigation and turned out it was all his blood. His only answer as to why was just in case. She barked at people and tried to scratch behind her ears with her foot. AMD sniffed people's butts at recess. She was 14. We were getting DNA samples in biology. Most of the class used spit, but he tried to squeeze milk out of his nipples. Milk. After that didn't work out, he attempted to get pimple fluid from his pimple. When the teacher noticed and questioned, he answered, "I got some out just this morning." This was when we were 14 to 15. Ate styrofoam. And then visibly lied about / denied it when someone pointed it out. Bits of styrofoam came out of his mouth. Humped my desk for a solid minute while maintaining eye contact with me. And then said, "Thanks," and just walked away. I'm a guy. This was 15 years ago. On my first day at this new school. And I was just eating lunch at my desk. And this dude just walked up and went to town. No context. No introduction. Nothing. Didn't even buy me dinner first. Just wham. Bam. Thank you, desk. Cut his own hair while in class. Mentioned that he would conquer the world with a revolver. Ended up setting fire to his house and was sent to a mental asylum. Pretty mild stuff. My brother is a high school teacher and he once texted me that he caught a kid cutting his pubic hair in class. Another kid not even from his class randomly ran into the classroom. Took some binders out of a bookcase and started jumping up and down on them. Then he ran out of the classroom again. Dressed like the Queen of England, hair, shoes, and everything from elementary to middle. Then dressed like a doll for a year. Tried to hook up with everyone. Got kicked off stage at a talent show for doing a burlesque routine. Would work her sexual prowess into every oral report. And her last year she came to school 2 times in just a mini skirt and bra. I didn't know her personally at all, but I've kind of suspected she might have been sexually abused or something. Edit. Elizabeth II. There was this really mentally f***ed up kid I could probably write a book about. He went through a phase where he was obsessed with JFK. Printed out pictures of him and taped them to everything. His binder, truck, locker, etc. I don't know what happened, but later that year all those pictures changed to pictures of Hitler. He referred to this as the time that the devil overtook him with evil. He did this same speep with William Shatner and a teacher at our school. But the bizarre satanic Hitler obsession takes the cake. He was also banned from the computers because the library lady caught him jerking it to porn. Weird kid. Dan. Was obsessed with cute girl, Casey. For several years. She rejected him for several years. On the bus to a field trip I sat next to him and he was drawing. I glanced over and he was drawing Casey falling off a cliff onto a patch of spikes below. Years later in middle school he also got super mad and threw a desk across the room in English. Not a small desk either. One of those that's a desk/chair attached hybrid. Just f***ing yeeted it across the room. Was f***ing terrified. There's a litany of things he did. But those stand out to me. Edit, cause I saw another commenter mention something similar. He also jerked off under a desk in detention once. I remember once in high school we were on a school camp which included some low-level spelunking. About 60 of us had to squeeze single file on our hands and knees through a narrow part of the cave which was about 100 meters long. There was a small section about halfway along which opened up a bit to allow 2 people to sit shoulder to shoulder. Anyway, weird kid got to this section and decided he really needed to poop. Not sure what he had been eating. But it was a runny one. He was at the front of the column, so we all had the pleasure of crawling through the mess he made. Because we'd come too far to turn back. Combine that with poor lighting and poor ventilation and we had a real mess on our hands. During my 6th grade graduation, our class sang a song. Weird kid is standing next to me on stage and suddenly projectile vomits and some of it landed on my shoes. Impressively. He still kept singing while I stood there wide-mouthed in horror and disbelief. I'll never forget all the gasps from the crowd. He was a genius. All top scores. One day he called a friend of mine and said, "Hey, what are you doing this afternoon? Do you want to come here so we design a time travel machine?" Who knows when he is now? In grade 8 this kid would bring a bar of soap with a hole in it and beep it in class. We would whisper to him, "PSSST. Hey. How was it?" He'd give us a grin and a thumbs up while we giggled. That was 32 years ago. Recently found out he's a big shot neurosurgeon in England somewhere. Who would have thought? Naruto ran everywhere. Told everyone her dad was Harry Potter at age 12. And most memorably, came to school bawling her eyes out because she said she had laid an egg and her parents had eaten it for breakfast. He stabbed someone at a bus stop freshman year of high school. I don't think it was as intense as the rumors about it were. But he definitely had a knife and pulled it. He got expelled and sent to a high school for kids with behavioral/mental health issues. Senior year rolls around and he gets sent back to our high school. On the first day of school he shows up in a t-shirt that says "Stabby is back." Legendary. In 6th grade the weird kid climbed up a tree and threatened to jump down. No teacher was nearby and all children around me included were like, sure, go ahead. Or what do you even want to achieve by that? He was just 3. Maybe 4 meters above the ground. So no one really expected a more serious injury. After the students lost interest in him and some hesitation on his side, he climbed back down. So no big deal. Right? Wrong. Fast forward 5 years. Same guys climbs on top of a 12 stories building and this time actually jumps. I always felt a bit guilty. As our reaction. When he climbed up that tree might have encouraged him to do it properly this time. The guy actually survives by hitting the electricity cables from the tram, which softens his fall. But is in coma for nearly a year with multiple surgeries until he finally wakes up. But will be impaired for the rest of his life.